We tend to have the impression that business is all about, rational calculation, but I've come to realize how emotional it is. It's not just with like partners, but also with potential business partners. I still remember we were meeting a fellow creator in the space. My former partner just told off one of the other partners, and then his other partners then started to say, I don't like the way you said it, can you please apologize? So it got so very high school. I was like, wait, okay, if high school I get it, but this is like
You adult
business,
Rolling dirty in this era Messy colors
Selamat kembali ke Yamcha Sessions VFO VeryFastOne.
Topik apa hari ini kita nak diskusi?
Diskusi apa, MJ? Marilah kita berbincang.
Today we'll discuss it over some coke, right? But anyways, today's topic was inspired because by my observation that I think people are dreaming of the entrepreneurship life. They hate the corporate world or for whatever reason, or a boss or whatever. So one of the key things when you start a business is obviously a business partnership, right?
Yeah.
Yep. Worse, right? Worse than the gay one, right? Okay. It's our joke is that Vic doesn't actually know today's topic. So he thought that it was about gays for some reason, but it's probably worse.
I was saying earlier, the character development of Wick is that he used to come here and wanting to know what is the topic that we're going to discuss beforehand. But now it's like, let's just go.
Just to start off with some context for everyone, or maybe a question for everyone, right? Have you ever been in a business partnership? So my answer is yes. Vic is yes. So for both of you,
Yeah.
Yeah, can
yes.
say.
Everybody yes. Okay, so I think we can go straight into it, right? What are some of the things, some of the lessons that you learn, and if you could redo it again, if you need to redo it, what would you do?
Went 0 to 100
Am I starting with me?
Yeah,
I suppose eyes are on me, lah, right?
Yeah.
I refuse to look at MJ.
First question is that, are you talking about an ongoing partnership or are you talking about...
True, you can ask that as well.
I feel, well, I suppose ongoing also, lah, right? What have I learned?
Okay, explain what your former business, not the people or whatever, but how did it start? And then we go into the lessons and things like that.
How did it start? How did Yamcha Sessions start?
Oh, we're talking about Yamcha Sessions.
Okay.
All right.
I think you all know lah. If you really watch Yamcha Sessions, you'll see it's the first episode. The first episode, we sit down in the cafe and then discuss. Then it grows and grows, has its ups and downs. I think everybody here knows a lot of the downs.
Okay.
And I think most people know about the ups. You just don't know
something prophetic, man, where you said a lot of people know the ups and downs, and then Nick and I saw something fell down right as you said down, then the thing fell down.
Oh shit.
But what is a misconception? Because like you said, there's a lot of ups that people see, but they don't see any downs, right? So obviously people have a lot of misconceptions. So
100%.
what are the learning lessons in your partnership? And yours is a little bit different as well, right?
Bit different.
Yeah.
It's dependent on whether it earns. That's the thing.
Yeah.
Then only it can be.
And it's a side thing as well. It's not
100%.
a main thing. Yeah.
100%. I feel like it's weird. Only I think like in the past 5-6 months or even till today, already, I'm starting to realize, right? Maybe I need to have more focus in life in order to make things work.
Okay.
It's like that whole vlogging thing I started long ago. I always thought it was like a promotional tool that you can somehow cross-pollinate certain things, like how I do events, how I do the podcast, how I do like side gigs where I edit videos and shit like that. And it's helped lah, no doubt. You get gigs to edit videos, you get gigs to do graphic design once in a while. Consultancy, but like, hey, can you help me do this, help me do that? Yeah, sure can lah, but it doesn't really give you a lot of focus. And when you don't have focus, I think that's when you are in a drought area. I mean, drought season where a lot of people don't reach out to you. Like, wow, is this it? Luckily, I have my main which is the events planning industry with my mom and my family business and all that. So I'm starting to learn. I feel like maybe you need to develop more focus. You see, you notice, right, when I stopped vlogging, only Yamcha also, we all started to pick up. I work with you guys and everything. There's more focus in it, and that's how we grow. So maybe you need to sharpen and sharpen. You gotta have more focus on one thing. You do multiple things, very hard to grow lah. Maybe that's my lesson lah. What I've learned.
Okay, Vincent.
Sorry, what's the question?
What you've learned?
Explain your partnerships if you want to, explain your partnerships if you want to, or and you can get into the lessons.
Oh, okay. Well, this partnership used to be active. It lasted for about like maybe 3 years, and we wanted to do like a web comic thing. And I guess the time I would say that it was just a couple of young guys want to start something, and the other 2% was more on the artistic end, lah. So they're not as like business driven, management driven. Because I came from I came from business school.
Okay.
So I'm always more entrepreneurial, started my own guitar lesson, all this kind of stuff. So it was a small little thing that after university, you came out, you have entrepreneurial dreams, you know, influenced by Rich Dad, Poor Dad kind of thing. Yeah, but the other 2% may not actually belong in that kind of same mindset, but they want to do something. So I guess I would say that lessons learned from there was basically about how you have a lot of young guys who didn't know what they're doing. You know, on my hand, you know, I've learned that I'm a little bit more of a, you know, I want to do things right on my end first before I ask others, which is a big mistake. So I ended up like wasting a lot of time just trying to get it right myself. And then also when you're younger, right? You know, there's always this situation where if there's no authority figure and you become the authority figure and everybody else allows you to, you become kind of toxic.
Like the bad guy, is it?
You become the bad
now
guy?
you have to like put people in order.
Crack the whip.
Yeah. There was this experiment back then where they bring in high school boys, into a prison, and then they let one of them to they let few of them to become like the officers and few of them to become the prisoners. And then the experiment went quite bad, you know, where the friends who are officers ended up abusing them because they have more power.
Wow.
And they all know it's an experiment. They even did a movie. I think
Is it? In movie also.
it's pretty good movie. There's this guy called Drake and Josh. Remember Drake and Josh?
Of course.
Yeah, Drake was acting in that movie as well.
Oh shit.
It's a pretty good movie based on a real life experiment.
But you had, it sounds like you had to be the adult or something in this.
Yeah, so I have to be an adult. So long story short, it's like a very similar situation with Singapore's NOC, you know, like Sylvia,
Oh.
where she had so much power, and then when you're young and you have power and you tend to abuse it, and the thing will fizzle out. And basically I didn't have the same thing as Sylvia, not that bad, but my partners weren't talking to me. And on my perspective, I might be thinking, yo, you guys are not communicating, but I can tell that you guys are like not telling the truth. But in hindsight, if I wanted to assume the role of a leader, I should have known better.
You should have known better. How are you going to do anything lah?
Well, I would say that back then we were young. Even I myself were young. 25, brain haven't even developed, you know. But we're still friends. We're great friends till today, you know. So things are okay.
But there was no like big money loss or is that what's the damage?
There wasn't, I would say time. Lah. Time is a damage, but you learn from time. Lah. Yeah, you learn from time. It came to a point where the partners weren't even telling me that they were having discussions secretly behind my back that they want to leave, but they don't dare tell me. You know, only 2 years later, after we finish all the problems, they tell me. And that's where we became friends again. You know, still great friends. Yeah.
Stuff.
But before we go to Vic, like in your business partnerships, has there been damage done and you need to fix?
I can say lah, but I don't know better not say lah, bro. That one is so bad shape lah. You all know lah. Okay. Yeah, better not say lah. Bad shape lah. This bad shape is not safe for work, not safe for camera, not safe for a lot of things lah. Better don't say lah.
Hey, Malaysia now allows super chat. So if you have like a $500 super chat, we're gonna do what MJ suggested, VF4 after dark.
Yeah, find the ringgit a month.
That one I can disclose lah. If you go pay 500 ringgit per person.
Yeah, let us know, man, in the comments.
But that one is mad lah, bro. Mad lah. And not only that, you know, I don't know whether you all remember this, right? It was during the Tun M pot some more.
Oh yeah.
Oh my god lah.
What is
Catastrophe.
What is bro? I tell you after pot lah.
Okay.
Mad lah. Yeah. Better not say lah.
K-drama thing lah. Anyways,
K-drama, bro. This one not K-drama, bro.
Wait, I think
drama.
Wait, I think you told me before, right? Yeah, I think I know.
I think everybody here.
Okay,
this
yeah,
one
you all
knows
hype
lah.
the viewers up and listeners
man.
up, right? 500 ringgit.
Find a ring, yeah.
All right, Vic.
Super chat.
Fresh wounds, eh?
MJ is just on a it's the trick, you see.
Maybe, man.
Give him more.
You share what you can, lah, obviously, right? Because anyways, Vic goes.
Big mood today, bro.
Man's guns blazing. What was the question again?
I think this first one will be a bit hard for you because I think there'll be too much details you might need to share until where you cannot share. But more like lessons from your history in business partnerships, right? And explain to us damage done, because I want to give people the impression or the idea of what happens if they don't get it right. What are the consequences?
I've had a couple of different establishments lah. So I think there's always scenarios are extremely different, but one thing has been one similarity has always been with a bunch of folks of 3 or more.
3 or more.
3
okay.
or more.
Okay.
Yeah. I've also been advised many times by two people, two very specific people, that I think partnership should not be more than 2 people. But again, they are probably speaking from their own experience lah. But I think one of the biggest lessons learned is that when you are probably starting off a new company or whatsoever, it's always best to identify people with different strengths. Because I think you can, in the initial stages where it's extremely euphoric, you can get carried away with like-minded folks. You know what I mean? Like you bounce an idea, and then both of you guys agree with it, and it's extremely euphoric, especially maybe when you sign SSM and get a bank account. It's great. It's a great feeling, right? It's a nice start, but I think they are probably not prepared to face
Rolling
the
up the
hard stuff.
sleeves. Yeah.
So after my first venture, I quickly understood that I think it's best to work with people who you can trash and get trashed by them and continue working.
So it sounds like there shouldn't be so much agreement. Actually, it's not necessarily a good thing.
Order.
I think it's more of bringing in. I think it's more of having different strengths and weaknesses lah. So you can cover each other in many ways. But I think it's easier to celebrate. I think like what John mentioned, right? It's so easy to celebrate. But for me, like soon as that happened right after uni, what I learned is I think your partners, you need to be able to smash them and also get smashed by them and continue working.
I think that was the problem. I was smashing them, they weren't smashing me back.
Yeah. Again, not everybody is the same lah. Some people are very non-confrontational.
Yeah.
So this first one
They're
was
not
in uni, is it? Like
Yeah.
okay. Wow.
Yeah.
It's quite rare, right? Like Malaysia for business to start.
I wasn't in Malaysia. I was
Okay.
I was in UK.
Okay.
But whatever I was doing back then, it was more for pocket money lah. It was more than pocket money.
It's a small start.
So it didn't work out, and what was the damage for that? Like
Actually,
what did it
it
cost you?
did work out. The only reason why we stopped is because we grew out of it. There was some circumstances that didn't allow us to do it anymore as students, so we just stopped doing it. But we continued being friends.
Nice.
Yeah. We basically became clubbing events organizers lah. Yeah. So we organized events, catered to Malaysian students, Singaporean, APEC students lah, basically. Yeah.
So yeah. So
Wait, but I don't know if I share number 2 lah. But yeah.
What
But
about-
these lessons learned from the first one lah.
The lesson was from the first one. I think it's very applicable to the second one as well.
So what is the
second,
any new things that you learn? Because I think the gap between the first and the 2 is quite
big,
far, right?
yeah.
The
Almost
duration,
a
right?
decade.
I think communication is very, very important lah. Again, like everybody should have different set of skills, but everyone understanding what each other's role
Roles.
entails. I think that's super important. Like if everybody is mixing a drink, who's gonna sell the drink?
But I got a question, man. It's like you're saying a lot of people would naturally say communication is very important, right? But I'm gonna personally ask you: are you the communicator or you're the one that is not communicating?
I'm the loudspeaker.
You're the loudspeaker. Okay, all right. Because in my situation, my experience that I talked about is that I'm the communicator as well. But how do you, when we all know communication is important, but when the other side acknowledges that but doesn't do the same thing, I think you're experiencing the same thing. I want to communicate. Everybody agrees communication is good,
But then
but then they don't communicate.
talking to
So
a wall, man.
yeah, so it's like I don't know, maybe then the deeper root of that would not be communication, but
think-
rather
I think that's where it goes down to understanding that there are different characters lah. There are some people, it's not about leadership or whatsoever. I think like for me personally, I am who I am even with friends, for example. I think
100%.
John knows me for a very
100%.
long time. I just don't like silence. Like if there's
Oh,
silence,
yeah,
I'll try to
hey.
fill it in. You
Same.
know what I mean?
yeah, I hate it.
John does the same as well.
Same. Yeah.
So I
But sometimes
think,
people change. That's the tough part.
correct.
Yeah.
People
That's the
change.
hardest part. I
Yeah,
feel.
So they go through certain transitions in life.
That's a very nice way of putting it. But yes.
So, but then it's just about being open about the problems.
Yeah.
Because you don't need to speak about happy stuff. You
Oh,
can
yeah.
automatically enjoy.
It's
one.
not the
I've always yeah. It's about the meow 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 meow.
Correct. But yeah, I didn't realize they are opposite emotions.
yeah. Same cat, different day. Yeah.
Oh, what about you, MJ?
So I tell you what I think. So I've been multiple partnerships, and I'll tell you what works lah. So, the first is especially when you're starting out, and the assumption is that you're a startup lah, right? You must always have one guy who has majority say. So you don't actually want equal say. You do not want a democracy. Actually, you want hopefully a benevolent dictator. So you have to think in such a way where if you are the big one, if you're the big one, it's not really an issue. But if you are the smaller one, the
How they
minority
feel.
partner, what role do you play? Because now ultimate decision lies in another person. So I think that worked well for me, where no matter what, there was no such thing as 50-50.
Yeah.
It's always some 60-40, 70-30. So everyone knows the hierarchy of the decision.
Yeah.
The problem begins when it's 50-50. Right? And so it creates the expectation upfront.
Why is that so?
The expectation or
Yeah,
what?
yeah.
No, because if you're equal, then you're mentally, you're more likely to, how do I put it? To swing your influence or to feel like you can be on the same level as the other guy. I mean, yes, you could be better on the same level as the other guy, but because the shareholding split is already in the favor of one party, even if you disagree with the person, you already know beforehand that if you disagree, his way is going to be, his or her way is going to be the way. So you are prepared for that already. What you don't want is gridlock lah, where two people
like,
henke
what
and
is
then
going on?
nothing goes on.
So I always believe that in a partnership, right, there's a business creator. This is how I coined it. There's a creator and then there's a builder. So a creator is like, I think your passionate chef who really knows how to cook and knows what specific recipe. And you want a builder who is like a manager who doesn't really interfere with like, oh, I think your recipe should be this and stuff like that. It can give that advice, but that builder should not be a creator. So you should follow like same thing as what MJ said. So there should be one benevolent dictator.
Yeah. So the way it works is that therefore, right, to me, it actually matters slightly less how many partners there are. Because as long as there's one big one, you can have 5 partners, but it will look, let's say you got 10 shares, right? So it will look like 6. And then let's say 5 partners, then the last 4 divided among 5. So it's maybe 0.8, per person. So there's no way those 4 can gang up on you to make a decision. But because you have the biggest decision, and if let's say you do something that is not that good for the other parties, their risk is not as big because their risk is, small.
Yeah.
So that's one. A few lessons. So that's one. The second one is there's no such thing as a part-time like startup. I think it's possible to do part-time, but you have to be very, very hardworking. So
Gotta be Elon.
so you need to be like working from like 5 to 11 after work or 5 to 12 after work. You need to put in like the same hours. And if you don't have that, it's better to just not have the startup or
Sorry, this whole part-time thing, I think it works if you're a single contributor. Like, you're selling something online or like you're doing some private consulting work for people,
those
then
are okay.
I think it's a lot easier for you to be
Correct,
part-time. But if you're in a partnership, I think it will get to a point where
Yes.
trouble will begin.
Yeah, no, actually, when I with my former partner, when we started the business, somebody came in, right? He's a smart guy and all that. So he said, hey, you know what? Why don't I just give you like the content, and then I'll just take a small stake, 15%, 10%, but I'll keep my job. Then we're like, no, like that's not how it works. So anyway, that's the second lesson. So those are things that I did right. Where I could have learned better would be to not. Most people say like, oh, leave like your personal stuff outside of business, right? You must draw a line between personal and business. I actually think that they are pretty much linked. I think if you have a partner who has a messed up personal life, it will flow into yours.
I think John will know that.
So the way it looks, it will happen is that, say if your partner messes up with money, like he doesn't manage his or her money well, his agenda, right, when he's discussing with you business, will be a bit different. He will be less likely to make long-term decisions. So to give a concrete example, I still remember I was meeting somebody. So for me, I want to create networks. So I met this guy who I think is quite bright, but he joined a new company, but you can see like he's really climbing up. His bosses like him and all that. So I thought, hey, I'll just buy him dinner or whatever, just to connect. That's it.
Yeah.
So then I was told by a former partner, then say, why are you wasting your time? They say, then I said, why? I mean, I'm just creating a connection or whatever. They say, yeah, but he's not the decision maker. Why you want to waste time meeting him? Wow. Now, why that is the case is because
Damn.
So
What?
The reason why that kind of behavior exists.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, and then to give you another case, right? Instead of say preparing to make a video, right, or to study a company which does not bring revenue but can have long-term
Gains.
consequences. Instead of that, then it became like, hey, we should sell books. Because why? Because the personal life, the money is not managed properly.
Oh shit.
So then you start all these funny,
There will be some
let's do
hidden
this, let's
agendas
do that. Then I'll be like 2 years ago when there was no financial issues, if I close a deal for like 6,000 ringgit, it's like, wow, very good. Then when I do that 2 years later, then it's like no reactions and nothing.
And that was the partnership that you had back then that was 50-50, is it?
No, so this was not. So I've never had a partnership that was 50-50.
So
always,
you were
I
on
was a smaller one.
You were a smaller one.
So if there's a fourth one, would be skill set works if the values are correct. So one of the harshest lessons for a lot of, I think, business owners is you have the correct skill set, you can have like the Avengers team, but if let's say you can't play well with each other or ethical differences, then it doesn't really matter. And I've been in a partnership in the past where we were pretty much made in heaven, because most people who look at us will say, hey, look, like I'm like the back end guy, I'm like the content guy, the guy who does the copywriting, blah, blah. And then the other person is the more outgoing and the more sales oriented. And we could see in the numbers that the partnership was working and all that. So again, on paper, the aptitude really worked. But it's the attitude and the
values.
Yeah, the values part.
But you would say also that the values changed, that's the thing. Or you at least assume that the values were similar at the beginning and then
I would
suddenly.
say, yeah. Well, in my case, it was revealed, I would say.
Yeah.
It wasn't a change.
But I think people also change under pressure, like over time, right? Like you were saying, like your own personal finances or your personal problems start to eat into your job. You start acting a bit funny, that type of thing.
And another thing is like people think that businesses are like, I think we can agree with this.
Yeah.
We tend to have the impression that, business is all about, rational calculation, but I've come to realize how emotional it is.
So emotional.
It's not just with like partners, but also with potential business partners. I still remember we were meeting a fellow creator in the space, right? And we just had like my former partner just like told off one of the other partners, and then his other partners then started. Suddenly he, just say, I don't like the way you said it. Can you please apologize? So it got so very high school. I was like, wait, okay, if high school I get it, but this is like
You adult.
business, So I realized it's a lot more emotional than people think.
But so I was talking to this friend of mine who's in a who is a second gen family business dude, very very successful family business, and he himself is doing pretty well. Has his own establishment as well, working under his family business. Super traditional business. I won't get to like what industry and stuff like that. But for him, he told me this, that he would never work with friends for that very same reason. Oh, whoops.
You can move the mic arm.
Yeah. For that very same reason, he won't work with friends. But I would disagree from that perspective. I have a very different view on this. I think regardless of friends or even working with family members, like what you said, you think that there is no segmentation between personal relationship and also like working relationship. But I've always completely drawn the line. Like the moment I walk out of that office, if you are my best friend, you are my best friend. But within the working scope, I am still going to possibly look at KPIs.
Yeah,
You know what I mean? The outputs of whatever you are doing.
So tough.
I think that should be the case most of the time, that people are able to separate and things like that. But again, it
Reality.
depends on the actual situation. Sometimes the personal life just gets really
I
bad.
agree. I have always been on the other side of
Correct.
my way of practice. So I've always been on the losing end of
Correct.
people not being able to segmentize this thing. For me, it's just like whatever. Like if I'm really annoyed at you or you are annoyed at me, but if I'm walking out of that door, if you are my friend or you are my sister or my brother, you are still my sister, brother, and my friend.
But I think that's kind of tough if somebody wants to start something at the side, right? They have an existing job. So which means like the other time that they have after working hours, and sometimes people work until like 8 o'clock or 9 o'clock, right?
Yeah.
So then if I'm hanging out with you or we finish our supposed working hours, which is after 12 a.m., right? I'm still going to ask you like, hey, so when you going to give me that, It's like when you work with friends who you are doing it on the side, I believe that you don't have that friendship going on. It's kind of tough because anytime that I meet, say for example, John, right, if we're taking things very seriously, that we're working, we're committing a lot of sweat equity, pouring in more hours. Technically, when I meet you on a Saturday, I would be asking, so how's progress?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hey, you find that like not a good thing or a bad thing?
For me, I'm always an objective-driven person. It's like if we are friends, we talk about committing to something, then the next time I see you, technically I'll be asking.
I would be the same actually. But I feel like my experience of working in a family business has taught me that there's a right time and place to ask, and there's a right way to ask, which I think is not to say a weakness. I think it's actually a strength that you start to build over time. So you might see it as like, wow, it's so mafan. You have to juggle the person's emotions. You have to look at what you do, what you say and all that. But it really teaches you to be a very attentive person. Like the little details. Like for example, I just worked out with Vincent the other day, right? And I was like thinking, should I ask Vincent about the audio? He's tweaking the audio, but don't know whether I should ask him or not.
Well, you actually go through that.
Oh, wow.
I would just ask him.
No. I was thinking about it. Yeah, like maybe wait first lah. It's okay. Maybe life is not all about it. Should enjoy the workout first. So go work out first lah. Then after workout on it, like you should ask him. No, like give it some time lah.
But let me ask you, right, John? Like if you're in a life and death situation, would your head even bother going through this thought process whether or not I should ask?
So it's a
Vincent
fun
about
fact.
audio.
I have had many situations in which my mom, my uncle, and my auntie are in that scenario in which it's very urgent. Need to ask. I think then you have to weigh it out in your head. Is this something that will jeopardize the overall? Okay, so everybody is an emotional person. I can tell you this lah. It's just the degree of how emotional you
What
are.
triggers you?
I still don't know MJ's emotional trigger though.
MJ,
Man United.
therapy group lah. So if when you look at people's different triggers, right? Overall, you have to see. MJ was saying how like some people always own a majority stake in that company and everything like that, right? So when I look at the overall like hierarchy that is going on, am I really going to ask that question, right? That will help benefit my progress for this specific project, but will jeopardize the entire team's progress because the upper management is not in a good mood. This applies for clients, by the way, not just my mom and whatever, you know. So I'm thinking as a whole, fuck. If I ask this question now, right now, because I need it urgently, just I want to clear out my mind, my to-do list is done. Is it worth jeopardizing this entire thing?
Yeah, but hang on, sorry. My context was within partnership, not clients and things like that. Like clients, you handle it. Like
Partnerships, I believe, should have a free reign. You can ask anytime.
Yeah.
There's a reason why. Let's just say if I'm a partner and the other person is asking me,
You wouldn't take it to...
the partner need to think. There's a reason why the partner is asking me right now at a time where I feel inconvenient. But what is he or she feeling? So I feel it's free reign.
I feel like there's a lot of consideration. I'm just saying it can apply to clients, but I'm saying a majority of the time when I make a lot of considerations like this, I don't want to piss them off because overall, if I piss them off right now, it will affect the whole team. Example,
Right.
I need to make Jen happy. Jen is like, Yang, when are we taking leave to go Japan? I'm like, it's not the right time to ask to when to go leave, to take leave.
But I think that doesn't answer his question because love partners are fully emotional.
No, but I'm weighing up my personal life just because I need to get the checklist done. So I need to ask my mom, can I take leave or not?
I see.
So if I'm going to ask my mom, hey, mom, can I take leave? She look at me. Are you fucking serious?
Timing and person is what you're saying. So
she's
some
like-
people can probably
Some people can. If you ask me,
But again, context, right? You're saying something to do with something to enjoy away from work. So understanding context,
Okay.
this is something that you need to sort of
okay.
that benefits you. Just say it's life and death for the business
Then I will have
or
to
that
ask.
particular task. You're not going to give two rats
100%,
about
100%.
you
I
know,
will
the
definitely
person's
ask.
emotion, whether the
ask.
guy eating is kai fan. You're not going to give a shit.
Death, yes.
Actually, when you ask that question, I was thinking the other way, which is like when it comes to life or death, right? Yeah, all these small little things that we're doing, it doesn't matter anyways. Let's cherish our friendship. And to me, that's what I'm thinking of. Yeah. But what you were saying about like asking me, it also depends on what is the personality of that person.
Oh, definitely.
Like I work with MJ, I work with you, right? And I work with MJ's John, right? I find that those working styles among us, which are
Direct.
very direct, is so easy.
Oh, bro, yeah, man.
I just love it when people like I was influenced by John, the other John. Every day he would just chase you,
Wow,
with
I
the
wish
same-
someone chased me,
with
bro.
the same template.
I wish someone chased me, bro.
with the same templated message. Don't forget. Even though I remember, but it's like it's so easy when somebody tells me. To me, it's always about urgency. Like I shouldn't wait to ask you things. Yeah, I should be able to just ask you right now.
Bro, this is a godlike relationship, I feel like sometimes I ask MJ, I just send, hey, need timestamps. Bro, without a doubt, I don't need thing. It's like I have let go, bro. I don't need chase you. I have...
No, I always believe in like taskmaster. So like the word I use is taskmaster.
Yeah.
So I always tell like Jonathan, the other Jonathan, to like have a SOP, like remind him at this time, this, and then get to as much detail as possible. I'm of the view, right, that if somebody gets it wrong, unless I can identify malice, usually it's my
malice.
instructions. Usually
Malice is a
or
keyword.
mistake lah.
Yeah.
Unless it's like a malice or like a slip up. But usually I will be as specific as possible with the message. So there's no room for misinterpretation. And that's exactly how like we work. That's why actually, fun fact, because he edits some of our videos, actually all our videos, there's never any re-edit one. Re-edit always come if let's say a client asks to re-edit or there's just a
Mistake
a slip up or
Very
mistake,
rare.
something. Very rare.
Yeah.
So literally, right, if the post, I don't even see it. Actually, I don't know whether my viewers should hear this, but I don't even see my videos, I just, we film on Monday, he gets the message on Monday, he edits it on Monday night, Jonathan checks it. Tuesday we post done.
Bro, I don't watch any of the podcasts as well. I just
Yeah,
post it.
but going through with going back to what you were saying, it's like sometimes you have partners, right? And then you're afraid that this message, if I send at the wrong time, actually not even partners, people you work with. I feel like people shouldn't be that emotional.
Yeah. But I've been in that environment for a long time, bro.
Because-
so I like everything is thin ice.
You know, some of the viewers who have heard my thoughts about working with colleagues, you know, in employments, would know my preference, my style. I feel like when you are working with people, it's called work for a reason. You shouldn't get
Yeah.
emotional. So when we get into the office from 9 to 6, I don't care whether you have a bad day. Where is my stuff? Because I can be damn sure I will give you my stuff to you.
Because you're damn sure the fucking pay also, you get paid, right? So you just do the fucking job, right?
Yeah.
Bro, I know, man. I'm going through this right now, man. I swear to God. Like sometimes,
Yeah.
You know
So
the-
I think sorry, I think I can further dissect what you mentioned, right? So there's the task side of things, and then there's the partnership side of things. I think when it comes to tasks, I give myself a little more reason to be more relaxed, only because I feel that, again, like I mentioned earlier, I think everyone got different strengths and weaknesses. There
Yeah.
are some people who are more energy driven when it comes to work delivery. Like, for example, I do the hardest things first,
Oh, yeah,
the
man.
first part of the day, and then I do the brainless stuff on the second part of the day. But some people do it the other way around. That is something that I also learned, that maybe you give some leeway for people like that. Some people like to do work at 12 a.m. I've had a old boss that emails me at like 2 a.m. in the morning when I'm playing game, back then. So but he didn't sort of make himself understand like why I don't reply him at 2 a.m.
So he gets pissed with you.
He gets pissed.
Wow.
He gets pissed. Yeah.
That's
he would
micro,
go and
man.
bitch about me to like other people, because
2
my
a.m.
colleagues would actually go and my ex-colleagues would actually go and reply his email lah,
At 2 a.m.
at 2 a.m. Yeah. So I understand from the task perspective, but when it comes to partnership, I don't care what time it is. I don't care where you are on earth.
Yeah.
I think if there is a decision that needs to be made, I do not need to put anybody's feelings into consideration for anybody to talk.
yeah.
If all of us were partners, like if you needed his thing, you don't care. You know what I mean? If it affects all of us, right? You are just going to pick up the phone. Hello, ABC.
Like my experience, okay, I've worked with John, I've worked with MJ. My experience with MJ is flawless lah, basically. But at the same time,
Testimonial.
but at the same time, this is more of a personal note, because we are both very similar in the sense of like, our meetings are not long. You tell me A, I tell you B.
There's no meeting actually.
There is no meeting.
There's no meeting.
but at the same time, there is no, that personal connection is not too strong. I think there's a personality. I told John before, I don't do
Should
well.
follow us to Klang lah.
Maybe lah. I don't deal well with introverts actually. As an
Oh.
introvert, I don't deal well with introverts. That I told you
Right.
before. I don't know why. It's just a personality.
It's not maximized, that's what you're saying. Like, could be, like maybe it's an 8 or a 9, could be a 10, is what you're saying.
Yeah. But on a work wise, it's like flawless.
Noted.
Well, on the other hand, with John, with this thing is kind of like I wouldn't call this a partnership, like whatever we're doing right now.
Yeah.
I call this like just a collab or something like that. But if I were to work with you as a partner, right, I would feel that in some ways, your style would be a little bit tough for my personality to handle,
Oh, really? Wow.
because you're not a structured person. So
Oh, is it?
I mean, based on I'm
Well,
talking
the
about
cook is,
I'm talking about my exposure.
the
Like,
cook is working.
for example, yeah, the
Zero, bro.
Coke zero inside. Because I know you work in events, so it's different from you working.
Yeah.
So whatever I'm saying has nothing to do with. I don't know anything about your working, but it's like in terms of following objectives,
Oh, yeah.
Yeah,
That's
yeah.
true. I stray quite.
perimeters.
Yeah.
That one is a little bit tough. So that's why I always call you Luffy.
Yeah.
Because
Right.
the team will be
Right.
like, we have this plan, and then Luffy will like, yes, and then he will straight away just
do
jump to the other side.
Yeah. That's true.
yeah.
That's true. I go for feel also lah after a while.
Yeah.
But I think there's like a time and place, right? Like, it depends on what industry you're in, and because in your industry you have to be a lot more ad hoc than than mine.
Yeah.
For me, it's a lot of planning. You know that saying. You know, if you got 4 hours to chop a tree, kind of sharpen for your axe for 3 hours, then spend 1 hour chopping. Right. So that's my kind of industry. Your kind of industry, you can prepare all you want,
But sometimes you don't know, man.
but if shit happens, right? So perhaps you have evolved in such a way to
adapt to
suit
that.
to
Yeah.
this,
Actually, now that you say that, it's
adaptation.
quite crazy, man.
Yeah, events you have to, because I was like semi-events before, and I did badly.
Yeah.
Right.
yeah, yeah.
So like
I hate events.
after like I tell you right, like after the event, long day, right, 8-9 hours, right, I'm drained. So I literally, right, all my colleagues can be there packing all the chairs. I'll be there sitting on the lazy chair, just resting at that. Right, no sensitivity, whatever. My boss will come up to me and just give me an earful, like, what are you doing? But for me, it's like, but they're all there stacking chairs.
Yeah, for me, like after events, I'll be like, let's just stack chairs
Brother,
and go,
tank also
man.
already.
Yeah. So like I wouldn't fare well in events. So I know what the requirement for ad hocness in your industry. So that's probably why you're like that.
That explains so much, man. Oh my God, man.
But of course the good part is that, like, you know, surprises doesn't really get to you as much.
But I feel like at the same time, I'm quite a routine person, you know.
Yeah, you are, which is why I enjoy working well with you as well, because I can expect that whatever we're doing now,
It will be out.
it will be there. You know, it's like there is a clear expectation.
Yeah. Like, I think maybe it's just the structural part lah. I feel like if I can get from point A to point B via multiple routes, as long as I get to point B is what you're saying, I just get to point B lah.
Yeah, but this is where I would assume the business builder role, like what I was saying. I always see you as a creator, so I will build on top of what you're doing, because I don't need to force you to follow perimeters if you're not that kind of person.
Yeah. That's
So
true, that's
I
true.
will be the one that's building perimeters around at the side.
in order to like sort of navigate,
Yeah.
push me in that direction.
Yeah, that's where hiring comes in, right? You have this objective you want, then people have different stats, right, to achieve that. Then you realize, hey, got few stats missing. Like we got a lot of strength, a lot of agility, no intelligence, let's say, right? So then that's where you hire or you bring in a new partner or whatever lah. That's how it works.
Oh, damn, man. This is a revolutionary thing for me. I'm realizing right now.
Oh, but I like working with you, man. So yeah, it's all
Oh,
good.
thanks. Noted. I guess. Never thought about that. But I mean, I care too much about the emotion. I think I'll be stepping. I think Nick would know this. A lot of times behind the scenes, I will always tell the team, hold on, I get it done. Give me some time. But I always get it done, right? I always get it done, right?
But it's also the additional information here is that you are working with your
Family,
mom.
yeah.
And your mom, I mean, based on what you're saying, is more high octane, right?
Definitely.
So then that matters more. Suppose you work with like me and Vincent. There's no.
Oh my God, I think
nothing,
I can
It's
relax a
just
bit.
like nothing, right? It's just
Yeah. Because
your
doing Jaga so much,
But
man.
I feel like I've noticed that a lot of SMEs has a lot of emotions.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Everywhere. Too much emotions.
Yeah.
Hard, man. Hard. But I don't think I was always like this. I think actually I was quite robotic before this one. You know, when it comes to work, it's just that after working in events, now that you say that, maybe, man, the evolution track, right, has been set to that point. Because there's no point. Like I literally just went through a freaking meeting today, right? And then one of my colleagues, he's like a year and a half, can say quite junior, but he's around my age. And he was so worried. He was like, we need to go through the event agenda and everything. I'm like, bro, what's the point? Just go to the meeting on Monday. You go through with the client first. When confirmed, then you go through lah. He said, yeah, but there are parts I don't understand. I'm like, you just put that TBC, you meet the client.
Maybe
then you
maybe
put
that's
lah.
the issue. Perhaps he doesn't have the experience of
Yeah.
you know understanding that.
Bro, I feel like I've been ass raped so hard, right? I feel like no, this is no big deal. This event really the scale, you know what we're expecting
But
compared
on
to
the flip side,
Yeah.
dealing with someone like that, he or she, he sounds like a perfectionist or closer to that.
Yeah, he used to be in operations, so he used to
Right.
do like delivery stuff, you know.
So
and all
there's
that.
a benefit to people like that as well. So these are the sort of people that hate to let people down. And then they would like to like cover all their bases and provide all the
absolutely on
so,
the dot.
Exactly, right? So it's recognizing that almost actually all of us are double-edged swords. That means our strength is the weakness kind of it. Like the fact that you're an introvert means that there's going to be something missing there.
Yeah.
Do you consider your mom as a partner or still as a boss?
Mom.
Sorry, do you consider?
Maybe can say because there's this big thing that's going to be changing, like maybe in a couple of months. So
Should I
yeah,
announce it here? Like
Is this
better
exclusive?
not lah.
Yeah.
I can tell you after pot lah. But basically, I think it's like almost 70% boss now. Last time it's 100%.
Oh, who's the 30% boss now?
the new
There's been a
boss.
bit, bro, mad change, bro. I don't know what has gotten into like my mom, my
60
uncle,
years
all that.
old.
Times have changed.
Yeah, quite crazy. So I feel like, wow, damn, has to happen now lah. Okay lah. When will it happen? You can't tell, right? Can happen overnight too.
Yeah.
So now it's 60-70%. Yeah, and that's also because I think even Nick can attest to this. I feel like the team, they like to work with me, ma.
I need a bit more coke.
No more already, bro.
You want some mine?
Next
one.
But it kind of has that feeling lah. You know, the team is like, oh, John, how? They will come to me direct, so it feels good lah. So like, who
People
really has
see
the
you
power
lah.
in a way, right?
It's like internally people recognize you as
Yeah,
the-
I mean, it's not like I'm shitting on my mom. I think my mom has wonderful values in a way. Like she's got really, really good instincts when it comes to business. She's got really good like, and this
reading
is just,
people and stuff like that.
Yeah,
is
but
probably something
outwards. But inwards, I feel like she can be a very harsh boss.
yeah.
And I think maybe that's why I've evolved to that sense where I care a lot about like the people I
Yeah.
work with. I see the people every day.
Actually, it's a great balance. You know,
Yeah.
it's different strengths and weaknesses. You
Yeah.
just work with it.
So like, you know, I heard this from one of my colleagues, I won't say who, but he was like, but that's why you are better at dealing with the team. That's why the team comes to you lah. You know, it's kind of like the bigger brother figure. They come to you, how do I do this? Then we know you won't fuck us up. You won't yell. You just find a solution and you make a call lah. Then I'm like, oh, okay. That's why I feel more comfortable in the role in that sense. So I cannot give she's a boss per se,
I see.
that type of thing. Because I feel like I got more control in a way lah. And this came over time lah. Yeah. Hard to say lah.
I want to bring this up, right? I think one thing that almost inevitably happens in any business partnership is when one party feels that they're doing more than the other, more than their fair share.
That's right.
Yeah.
And I just want to create a tangent because it's connected. I think I told Jonathan this before, I'm not sure if I told you before, but whenever you decide to bring a new partner or work with that partner or whatever, there are actually 4 considerations. And this also can help in determining how much the shareholding should be as well. There's really only 4 things that I think a partner can bring, more or less. The first is brains. Second is sweat. Third is sweat/time lah. Third is money. And then fourth is maybe access. So you leave access out for a moment because that is usually not the case. Access is usually more for like, if you want to work with a really big tycoon or whatever, then it matters more lah. But so we take that out of the equation for now. So by and large, it's these 3 only. And I would say the rank order is, and people might disagree, but I say brains, sweat, and money. Money is the least important among these 3 because money is the most common out of this.
Yeah.
Especially in today's world, right? Raising money is much easier than finding the right mind and the right work ethic.
Yeah.
And some people don't get this. They think that if
I pay
put in money
yeah.
means I deserve a very big stake. Actually, that's not true. But the other more interesting one actually is the debate between the brains and the effort. So in a past partnership, I experienced this. So I would be accused of not putting in my fair share. But when I look at the money that was being brought in by me or by work that I've done in the past, it's pretty much my fair share. I mean, literally, it's mathematically my fair share, right? And this is something very important, I think, for every partner to know is that, to me, brains will trump effort because that's why you get into business in the first place. If you wanted like hard work to be the number one thing, you would stay in employment.
Yeah.
Because you would spend your time and you would trade time for money. So in my case, it was, I wasn't like putting in like the same amount of hours, but let's say like a copywriting page that I did that led to high conversions. That was done 1 year ago, but it's still bringing in the cash. Right?
Brains are more often than not kind of dictate the effort towards. So you need to have the brains to dictate effort, right? Otherwise the effort is going into like blank space, right? You might as well. I think technically it makes more sense. You should have the brains to guide the effort also.
Yes, but you have to also measure the impact of the effort. So you can be working harder, but if you're not bringing in the money, that is not as valuable. Now, it doesn't mean that hard work is not valuable. In fact, I tell people like, you should work hard, not necessarily just so that you can get the results. Sometimes you just need to work hard just to eliminate a bad outcome, right? Like you work hard, you bang the wall here, and then you're like, oh yeah, this is the wrong one. So because sometimes you're not smart enough to figure out whether it's the right move, right? So you just have to work hard and just bang wall, and then okay, now I know it's bad. So that's why hard work's like number 2. It's still very high up. It's just not better than brains.
Yeah.
And the best way is for everybody to contribute on the brain level lah. So I just want to bring that out because I know inevitably people will start debating on fair share, and a lot of times they debate and argue is because they don't really know this. So they might see someone, right, not really working as hard, but the guy's value is not in how many hours he spent.
I want to get a comeback for this. There's always this debate, idea versus execution, right? You can have a great idea. Now that includes the ones that you say brain, right? You can have a great copywriting, it's an idea. But let's just say that copy is a one piece, whatever that's supposed to convert, right? But the execution in terms of like putting it into something that you can advertise,
send out,
finding the right target audience, doing that multiple rounds of meta testing, and then getting the feedback and then getting the idea to revise, going back to you to do a revision, and then running through the whole thing again. Without that execution, then, that's where a lot of people say idea is worthless without the execution.
So there's a distinction between execution and hard work. Of course, when I say brains, it includes the execution. So to use that concrete example, the comparison was, let's say, my copywriting work, and then let's say my content that's used in a digital product, let's say. Okay, I only plan for it once. I work 20 hours to get that out, and then I can keep selling that thing into infinity, and it will continuously make money. Versus, let's say, setting up, let's say, doing finance and operations. You have to do it every month or every week, either to pay people to make sure things are in order. The hard work is a lot higher versus, let's say, if I were to write a very good copywriting piece or create a digital product that is a once-off.
In that scenario, yes lah. But I think what Vincent is trying to say also, there are different scenarios in which a lot of the brains can come up with like 20 ideas, and then they'll think like, oh, you should just execute.
So that's
different lah.
So that's a bit. That's why I distinguish.
Correct me if I'm wrong, right? Yeah.
Between execution and hard work lah. Of course, execution is something everyone needs to, because in a way, if you have a plan without execution, it's not really brains. It's just thinking. Yeah, exactly. So I'm including that in my example.
Right. So I got a question for everybody. What would you say is the best way that you guys know of to leave a bad partnership?
Wow.
And
how to leave a bad partnership?
Yeah.
Just say, gotta go, mate. My commitment here has waned. It has dried up like the whales in Africa. Gotta go. Can't deal with this shit anymore. Yeah. I think the easiest, most of the time, I think a lot of people would go, oh, I got commitments. I got other commitments that are a lot.
But wait, when you enter in this partnership, that's not what you said.
Yeah, 100%.
I mean, that's the other person that.
Or you can just fake a family thing lah.
Fake.
Like,
so you say the best way, it's like, yeah, guys, I got
my auntie got problem lah.
My
She need help.
50th grandma.
yeah.
So happen every Saturday when we record I need to go bring her dialysis. Something like that lah. I don't know.
You know what's my comeback to all this kind of fake excuses that sometimes people cook up is that, when you are very excited about the partnership, right? You never say all these things.
Yeah. No, it just happened only.
Then how?
She just found out only. Just did health checkup lah, bro.
But what are you going to be doing on Sunday night? Sure free, right?
Sunday can lah. But I think quite tight because Sunday I got another commitment. Right?
Wait, so your advice is fake it lah.
I'm not advising that. I'm saying a lot of Malaysians will probably do that.
So what is your take again?
My take is I feel like you should be very upfront lah. I think it's like not worth wasting your life lah. And maybe it's because this week I've been through a lot of shit lah, right? So I feel like, is it really worth that little like lie? Then you ruin this like relationship you have with this person.
Yeah, true.
You might as well just be upfront. Like if you're really not into committing to this anymore, just say it. You know, just be honest with yourself. Be honest with that person. Maybe the guy, if you're honest with that person can at least find another solution, another way to carry it forward. Or that person can stop wasting time and be like, okay, you know what? Since you're out, so maybe also I out lah. You know what I mean?
That's a good one.
Yeah, I feel like if people were just more honest, I think a lot of people would be happier. That's how I feel. Yeah, life's too short lah.
What about you, Wick?
I'm with John.
Yeah, so
Just don't waste anybody's time lah.
yeah. At least you're very just straightforward to it. You know, like if let's say if it's an emergency for like a month or 2 months or 3 months, can one people back you up for sure. But I feel like the actions kind of sort of dictate what your true intentions are. Already. Like if you show up, you do the shit, you do what you gotta do. You can see one. 1 month, 2 months, okay lah. But if like maybe for so long already, right? You should just be honest, man.
I mean, it's another sort of relationship, I suppose. You know, if your love life is not working out, just be upfront lah.
Yeah.
You know.
You don't need to go down to the details, right? You know? But just say lah.
But I gotta say that all of the guys here, right, are pretty Chad lah.
Wow.
Shit.
Like, as in, I know personally all you guys. Maybe Vic not too much, but I know enough from our interaction that I think all of us are not really bullshitters. But I have friends who would bullshit,
Yeah.
and those people would never tell you upfront.
Bro, I feel right, if I bullshit, right, you can see on my face, I'm such a bad liar.
Yeah, I mean, like if somebody is lying, I'll just straight up tell you, bro, you're just bullshitting me lah.
Yeah, just don't lie lah. Just tell me lah.
Yeah, don't
or you
even
don't
do that
tell me,
lah.
then just say don't tell me lah. The fuck, man. Are we really here? Are we really spending these moments face to face and you're gonna do this? You must just I cannot tell you lah.
I don't know if you have this problem or not, but I have the same approach when it comes to dealing with my family. A little bit stoic,
Just say lah.
objective driven. And it seems like to my family members, I'm not sensitive enough. I'm
I
not,
get that a lot.
not sensible enough.
Oh, I left that train left for me. I don't care already.
Bro, you know what's my worst habit? My worst habit is I say what they're about to say.
Oh,
That's just annoying, John.
Bro. Damn.
That's just the 5-year-old.
Bro, I've always been like that, but I think it's progressively worse, you know.
And
It's like
that's where they will say, you think you're very smart?
that, like, bro, I even say that before they say that, you know. So I give an example, right? It's like I'm gonna ask my mom, you know, like, hey mom, can I take leave? But I know what you're gonna say. You're gonna be saying, are you gonna ask me right now?
I've seen this in action, and I feel mom. I feel auntie lah.
You know,
Like what, John, damn annoying.
just a couple nights ago, right? I asked Jen, you know, hey Yang, what do you think of this outfit? But I know what you're gonna say. You're gonna say you should change your jeans. Then she just looked at me. She just turned
talk to
around.
yourself.
Yeah, bro. She's like, you literally just had a whole conversation with yourself. Are you happy now?
Wait,
Are you happy?
then what do you want her to say then? What do you want the other person to say?
I wanted to shock me, bro.
Then maybe you should have set it up like, hey, what do you think about this outfit? Here's what I think.
Hey, the woman decided to marry me, okay? I want shock, okay? Yeah, but I go on a whole tangent. I'm like, I know what you're going to say. Right? You're going to say this. So I don't even know why I'm asking you this question.
Sorry. MG.
Yeah, what about MJ?
oh yeah.
How would you...
Wow. So I think this one, it really depends on
Shock,
the person.
John, please.
This one, it depends on the person, and you need to know who wants what and who's initiate the breakup. So I've only had experiences when people initiate. In fact, in all my love lives also, I've never initiated a breakup.
Damn, look at you.
Yeah,
Look at you.
I've always it's a
Such a
it's a badge
carer.
of honor. You
Such a
know?
carer.
I never initiate. They initiate. You know, it's like okay. Fine.
So you would say you're also not a communicator lah.
So
Would you say that?
No, in order in my partnership split, I didn't know the person want to split. Suddenly he said on split. Oh, I wasn't. No, the thing is, they were unhappy with me. I wasn't.
Oh, but you were still happy
No, I
with
was
that person.
okay lah. Right? I mean, you know, I was like, I had this view, right? I
But
have
then
this view.
would it shock you? It's like, oh, your relationship. Huh? You want to break up with me? You're the fifth person.
No, it doesn't that. You know, like if girls want like I can say like if girls want to break up with me, it's very obvious why, because I don't have that kind of like attention giving capabilities that a lot of guys have. So if you break up with me because of that, then I'm like, yeah, okay. I get it. You know, I get it. You know, if I was like you, I would do you. You know? You know what I mean? So I totally get it. Yeah. So anyway, so I would like to know what each party wants, what each party is like. So in my case, without sharing too much details, the person felt that he was basically he felt like he could go on without me. Then he was more capable, and I needed him more than he needed me. But I know for a fact that literally financially, and I can literally back this up with numbers, that's not the case. Now, I have the choice to then argue the point, to challenge his truth, right? Which is that he doesn't need me, and he's doing 95% of the work and I'm only doing 5%, even though I earn my share is a lot bigger than that, let's say. But because I know the person and I know he's someone who needs to be rubbed in terms of his ego, so I just play with that. I just said, "You're right, I suck." and initially he wanted all of the shares. So that's the other detail, right? Because a split up is not just let's split up. It's how do we split up? Because for those who don't know, when you split up a business, there's the amicable way where you buy each other out. There's the second way is when you wind down the company and then you split the assets after that. Or when there's the third way, which is litigation. So this is go to court, right? So I did my calculation. I knew that the option 2 or option 3 was not something the other party would entertain, but I would entertain. So that I knew that if it came to option 2 and 3, that I was prepared already. But my calculation was the other person would not. How do I get that calculation? Because I know the person. I know what is his condition. I know why he's doing what he's doing, and that's it. So to your question, I would get all this information, and then I would make the decision that is beneficial to both parties. So both parties felt like they won. And in fact, when we split the business, initially he wanted the share. So end up I reversed it. I'll take it. And my whole stick was, you're right that I'm not actually very capable. So I like this opportunity to see if I can stand on my own 2 feet, because clearly I needed you, back in the day.
No reverse.
So I like this. So this is me also playing to his other part where he always feel like
He needed the affirmation.
and he always felt like I owed him something because he was the one that mentored me or whatever, right? So I played to that, even though internally I'm like, no, I totally disagree. That's completely wrong. But I knew that. So I said, you know what? I think this is an opportunity for me to stand on my own 2 feet. I can already foresee, people are going to criticize me and all that. That things were better when you were around. I totally see that. And I totally agree. Running the company without you may never reach the heights when you were around.
Damn, son, I tell you, this is poetic.
Yeah.
It's poetic.
And we
Some
sorted
moment.
everything out in less than 15 emails in a month. No litigation, nothing. Money was agreed, done. And in fact, he tagged me like, wow, I can't believe we actually split so amicably. It's like, yeah.
Nice.
Happy.
Exactly.
I guess before we wrap this one on my end, I would agree with John, like communicating and all this kind of stuff, but that's an easy answer, in my opinion, because if you can just easily communicate to people just like that, there wouldn't be so many messy breakups out there. For me, myself, I'm more of a do forever guy. If I find that once everything is right, I'm more of a do forever guy. But then again, it's like if I have to tell the other person to get out, I'm more likely not a communicator but a teller.
Right.
I'm more like, I don't think this is working out. I think you're not doing well. You don't want to do it? Don't do it. It's okay. I think I'm more likely that guy.
I think I've become a bit like that as well. I feel like I just roll the punches now.
Like, it's okay. Don't do it. Just don't do it.
Maybe it's like over time. That's why you see most dads, they just lose their emotion.
I am definitely getting there. I'm so ready for a
Vincent
kid.
is a dad. The big dad vibes.
But I think, right, I feel, right, I think I was just talking to Vic about this. But maybe that's why, right, when you have a conversation with older guys, they just reach that level, so much pain in their life, just like, yeah, it's okay lah.
I don't have pain. I just kind of don't care that much.
Yeah, but it stacks on, right? It stacks on, right? It's not just that. It's like the stoicism. It's pain. It's just like frustration. It's a lot of things, right? So you feel right now you just take the joys, but then when it's the downs, you just like it's life.
Let's talk about being a man as you grow older in the next episode then.
Yeah.
Hey guys, what about you? Do you have bad experiences, good experience? We just want to know your bad experiences. Just write it down in the comments. You know that we'll be checking out your comments. If you have a really good one, MJ might reply you and you can have an internet argument with him.
You should, guys. Please argue because we need the engagement.
All right.
So yeah, 150 comments. I think that should be a target. Right?
Hey,
And
If you-
$500 to know more.
if we reach at least 50K views, I'll tell the story lah.
Wow.
I'll tell the full story. I'll tell the
And
full story.
super chat 500.
I won't even need the money. Just get 50K views. I'll tell you a full story. I'll tell you all personally also can. You meet up with me, I tell you a story also can. A wild story, bro. That one, I feel. Yeah. Can you all attest to how wild the story
Yep.
is?
Damn.
Mad.
It's unheard of, right? You can't even write it, right?
You can.
Bro, ChatGPT also cannot. Think of a wild story.
I'm reminded because of that story that fictional stories are based on real stories.
Yeah.
Because of that.
So
You know
fucked
what
up.
they say? Truth is stranger than fiction. Right?
Yeah, that's true. Yeah. All right. Okay. Hope you guys enjoy your
Peace.
day. Are you having an amazing day?